Ma'am, we are live.
Okay. Namaste, everybody, and welcome to this panel discussion on the most important aspect of a child's life, which is play. Sadly, play has 4 letters, P-L-A-Y, and so it's a 4-letter word. But usually 4-letter words are supposed to be bad words. And suddenly we have started treating play as a bad word in not only early childhood classrooms, but also in parenting. And this play panel, which is called the Policy of Play, Impact of Play on Brain Development, is about helping everybody revisit the importance of play. I hope you all have read a book by Stuart Brown called Play. If you haven't, you must pick it up because it gives you the idea about the importance of play. He says, and I quote, "Those who had worked and played with their hands as they were growing up were able to see solutions that those who hadn't worked with their hands could not. They couldn't spot a key flaw in a complex system they were working on, toss the problem around, break it down, pick it up, tease it out of critical elements." Stuart Brown is referring to corporate houses who have started asking their people whom they interview to play. And from their play, they observe whether they are able to find out solutions, come out with better ideas. And he says that you become a better thinker if you have played in early childhood. What a lovely point. Play teaches us everything. It's called the engine of learning. It's called the work of childhood. Now, as we go through this webinar, you will come to know different aspects of play. But this webinar is because of a play policy that was launched by ECA. We will just show you the cover page of that play policy. And this play policy is something that every school, every educator, every parent should have with them. It's India's first and only play policy. It helps you understand the importance of play, types of play, play and its impact on brain development, and many things like stages of play, etc. We are very, very fortunate that HABA offered to become our partner and printed the copies for us. We partnered with the Indian Academy of Pediatricians, thanks to Dr. Sameer Dalwai, and they have endorsed this play policy with their support. And of course, School News for helping us launch this, and also for helping us with the key designs. Today, we are fortunate to have with us very important key people from ECA and HABA who are going to help us understand the importance of play and the importance of this play policy. So let me introduce you to all of them. Let me start with HABA because this play policy is something that happened because of them and because of their support to us. So I would like to introduce to you Samriddhi Sharma. She heads the HABA operations in India. Half the time she's based in Germany, but she's also very much here in India, in New Delhi. And Samriddhi is somebody who has supported ECA in so many things, especially the last educators pilgrimage that we took to Italy, Germany. She played a very key role in helping us visit Froebel and Steiner. So welcome, Samriddhi, and thank you once again for supporting this play policy.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me and having HABA on board. I hope that I'll be able to provide valuable inputs to the discussion.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Looking forward.
Our next panelist is Dr. Rita Sonawat. Everybody knows the story. It was over a cup of coffee that I and Rita ma'am shared, where ECA was born. She is the executive director of both ECA and APA. And Rita ma'am is the ex-dean at SNDT University. And she is an avid researcher. She is somebody who's very, very, very extremely passionate about early childhood education. Welcome, Rita ma'am. Rita ma'am, smile karo.
अभी मैं स्माइल करूँ okay. Thank you so much, Swati, for introduction.
You're welcome, ma'am. Our next panelist is Dr. Kamini Rege. She's very important because when we launched ECA, she was one of those founder members. And at that time, she was the joint secretary. But now she has a very, very important role because she's a treasurer, which means we cannot move forward or backwards without her. And she is the treasurer for the Early Childhood Association and APER, which is Association for Primary Education and Research. She is also with the Nirmala Niketan College of Home Science. Welcome, Kamini.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Swati.
And then we have, again, somebody who holds two portfolios, Vice President, Early Childhood Association and Vice President, Association for Primary Education and Research. My favorite, Farzana Dohadwala. She and I met many years back when I had approached her for an IB authorization of her school. She is, I always say, an IB queen, because if you want to know anything about international education, we go to Farzana ma'am. Welcome, Farzana ma'am, on this panel.
Thank you so much. And Swati, to tell you, even IB, which was not laying so much importance to play, has now changed its whole focus of early years to all be play-based. So I think you guys talking about it as the engine of learning is the perfect way forward. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I have specially invited you, ma'am, because we also want the primary perspective in play. Because people think that once children go to primary, play has to be forgotten. Only early childhood mein karte hain play, uske baad nahi karte hain. So I look forward to hearing your perspective on play in the primary years. Our next panelist is Harsha. And Harsha is the, what would I say, the mind, body and soul of ECA. She works extremely hard for all ECA activities. She's a brilliant mentor of the Gujarat territory. She started with Gujarat and she now has a whole range of territories under her. She is a national core committee member and she also owns her own preschool in Bhavnagar. Welcome, Harsha.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful appreciation. Thank you, ma'am.
And Harsha, from you, we want also the perspective of an individual preschool owner and your battles about making play important.
Yes, ma'am.
Our next and final panelist is Mr. Preetham, the only male in this entire all-woman panel. So Preetham, I don't think I only invited you because I had to balance the panel, because in early childhood, you can never balance. There are always more women than men. But Preetham is somebody that I am very proud of. Not only is he a male in early childhood education, he runs a brand called Hello Kids, which has centers not only in India, but also in Nepal and many other countries. He has so focused on early childhood that he changes everything in his brand according to the teachings or the research that early childhood education does. And it is very, very endearing and nice to see that somebody is not only in ECA, but is also applying it in his business. So Preetham, welcome to the panel.
Thank you so much, madam, for this, what you call as a great introduction about myself. But yes, I am a key follower of ECA. And if we have people, those who inspire us, the people like you and the ECA, I think that we'll be able to do the best possible thing, not as in terms of a business, yes, in terms of a teacher, in form of a father right now, and in terms of a business, in terms of toys, getting this onto this panel as play is something like, yes, it is one of my favorite word to understand preschool.
How lovely. Welcome. Our next panelist is Azelia. She is also a preschool owner. She is extremely clear, concise about early childhood education. She is not only dedicated, but she's passionate also. And she heads the PCMC territory in Pune as the Early Childhood Association territory head. I am very fond of her and I welcome her to the panel.
Thank you, Swati ma'am, for such a sweet introduction. I'm equally honored to be here and speak on this panel. Thank you.
So as you must have seen, we've got 3 people from ECA, mainly to do with curriculum, research, and policy advice. We've got 3 people who own preschools and are part of ECA. So we are going to be asking them about how they maintain that balance, that ECA comes out with a play policy, parents are against play sometimes. So how do you maintain the balance? And then the one person in the middle, who's Samriddhi, who comes from a heritage of play, which is Haba. So I'm going to ask my first question to Samriddhi. Samriddhi, why did you and Haba decide to give support to Early Childhood Association's play policy?
Ma'am, as we've been discussing this since, I think we've been talking about play since 2015-16. As I remember, we've always thought that the work that ECA is doing in India is so pivotal and important, first of all, for the Indian, the early childhood, the industry, so to say. And also, ma'am, play is such an important topic in a child's life because research suggests that when a child plays, the brain architecture develops. And when I was talking to you, when we were in touch with you, we were talking about what ECA is doing, what ECA plans to do. We saw that there is this resonance in discussion that we have in terms of play, the importance of play, what play can do in the development of a child in terms of brain development pedagogically, but also what it does for the socio-emotional development, for the cognitive development. And that is where when we were discussing, you told me, Samriddhi, this play policy is coming. I was like, how can we be a part of this, ma'am? You have to tell me. And then we came across, okay, this could be a good way of how we could be a part of the play policy. And I'm very happy that
we respect companies like Haba because it's not just a business to them. They invest in ensuring that the public comes to know about the importance of the core of their business. So it's not just about selling. So if I were to refer to page number 15 onwards of the play policy, I will name some play and Samriddhi will then tell us whether Haba creates toys or learning material to support those kind of play. The first play, symbolic play. We then have rough and tumble play, socio-dramatic play, social play, creative play, communication play, dramatic play, locomotor play, deep play, exploratory play, fantasy play, imaginative play, master play, object play, role play, recapitulative play, unoccupied play, solitary play, onlooker play, play, associative play, social play, motor physical play, constructive play, fantasy play again, and cooperative play. Now to the audience. You thought it's just play? There are 26 different kinds of play that you can involve children in. And when you will read the play policy, you will realize that this is all part of your curriculum development if you want to make it. So Samriddhi, tell us, you have 1 minute to tell us about all this play. Is it possible with Haba?
Absolutely. So, ma'am, I'll quickly try to summarize this given the slot that I have. So I'll also link it to the phases of a child's development. So I'll link it to as young as a 1 to 3 month old child. So I'll try to create the journey of the child and associate play with it and the toys that come with them. So as early as 1 to 3 months, when the child is really young, when the child has just taken birth, the vision is blurry, the child seeks comfort, the child seeks, security. That is when the cuddling toys play a big role, the pacifiers play a big role, the pram decorations play a big role, because they're helping the child to have that environment which helps the child develop. Going forward, when the child is like 4 to 6 months, then the child starts to develop, acoustic perception. The child is able to see better. The child is able to grasp better. So clutching toys come into picture. That is where the child would also start developing early cognitive abilities, so to say. Thereafter, when the child is 1 year old and the cognitive mind starts developing, mobility starts developing, so research says that there's a need to bring in toys that help with building activities, or toys that help develop acoustic perception, video perception, visual perception. So Hava has a lot of toys in this category where we are able to support these areas of development so that they develop together. So we have products for like puzzles, building blocks, which help. We have products for balancing, because in the early years, balancing is a very important topic. So balancing toys are there. But when the terrible twos approach, we all know about the terrible twos, how they are, because by that time the child wants to be independent, but is not able to be that independent, is dependent on the caretaker. So over there, it's important that the caretakers are patient. They have that kind of the material for the toy for the child, such as building blocks or pounding toys help in this case, or construction toys. The children can build them up, break them, then build them up. So again, finding better ways of liberating the frustration that develops during the years. So each phase of a child's development is linked to development in the brain, because research
Wow.
says. Molecular biology and neurosciences say that genetics only provides a blueprint for the brain. It's only that experience creates the architecture for the brain, and it goes bottom up. That means in the first 2 years, a simple network of neurons is formulated. And it's very important that a caregiver, whether in the form of a parent, in the form of a teacher, understands that these experiences nurture the neural network in the brain and help develop the different parts of the brain. And that is what Hava sort of focuses on, to make sure that an appropriate toy, a learning aid, provides the appropriate experience for the phase of the child is in. So going forward, then after 2 years, for example, puzzles come into picture, creative toys come into picture. Then there is, of course, the possibility of, associative toys. 3 onwards is when we say, or 4 onwards is when we say that the cognitive ability is now ready. It is now ready to develop to the next stage. That means the simple network of neurons has formed, and we are ready to go and look into the complicated network. That is where we then bring in more cognitive products. We bring in coding products. Starting 4 is when we start with the coding products, because research says that by 3 or 4, a child has started to evaluate 4 elements at a glance. So a child is able to understand that. A child is able to understand that a unit can be divided into partial subunits, and this can integrate further back to the unit as a whole. Or the child
Part to
understands
whole and whole to parts.
exactly. And the child
Yes.
understands, for example, that a bigger problem is a collection of several small problems. When I solve smaller problems, I'm able to solve a bigger
I'll
problem.
be able to solve the bigger problem. You know what,
Exactly.
Samriti, when you were talking about these toys, I realized that many a times when new preschools are setting up, they go helter-skelter trying to buy toys from different vendors. The knowledge that you have about toys and their impact on learning and development, I think that it should be very clear to any preschool owner that I should go to a vendor who has knowledge about the toys that they are selling to me. Also, I have seen all your toys, and one of the common mistakes which I see in many toys in India is that things are always labeled in capital letters. So you all have kept reading also in mind, and all the labeling on your puzzles, etc., is in sentence case, so that children are also reading side by side while they are playing with the toys. I'll come back to you, Samriddhi. I'm going to go to Rita ma'am now. The question to Rita ma'am and Farzana ma'am is almost on the similar lines. So in the play policy, Dr. Sonawat, it's given about play and the different domains of development. So for example, the domains given are cognitive domain, social domain, physical domain, emotional domain, so these are the domains given in the policy. How do you think, can you explain to us 1 minute, how does play help the development of these domains?
Thank you, Swati, for this question. We all understand that play plays a very significant role, and not now. As you know, and you have promoted Friedrich Froebel a lot from your lectures, from your trip which you have taken to Europe. So 200 years before, he has talked about play. So that play is understood by early childhood educator, but it has not gone to the really policy level, or maybe it has not trickled down to the down level. So that is the reason all primary education has come to the pre-primary, and in between we have forgotten about the play. Play plays a really significant role in all the developmental domains, and that's the reason we say, when we talk about the objectives of early childhood education, we say lifelong learning and well-being, which is possible only through play. And here the play policy plays a very significant role, because unless we understand this play policy completely from page 1 to page last, we will not be understanding the whole concept of play.
Wonderful.
You have talked about
The domains of play. Did we lose?
you have asked me about the cognitive development of the child. So here it's very clear that when the children, they are playing, that time all 26 plays which you have talked about, that improves the memory of the child and how it happens in the body. Body is secreting the brain derived neurotrophic factor. It's a protein which helps in the growth of the brain cells.
Wow.
And children who gets more opportunities for the free play, then only these proteins are releasing, and it is impacting the child's language skill, creativity, problem solving, even emotional, cognitive, and social development. So the question we are asking, what is the value of play? So answer is very simple. It is a vehicle for all learning. Children have love for logic, normal, because they are a curious child. But here also we say, this curious child, through play, they solve a lot of curiosity and lot of understanding they are getting. They explore the world through their senses. If you give them some play equipments, like maybe measuring glass, maybe this what you call it, the glass which is measuring
Measuring cups?
Measuring cups. So if you give just measuring cups to the children, then you will be seeing, they will be knowing that this 3 times if I put in a bottle, then only bottle fills. So that is the understanding they are getting from the measuring cup, and then there they are observing, there they are investigating, and then they're comparing. In this bottle 2 cups I put, in this bottle 3 cups, and like this the comparison they are learning. They are classifying that if I put in a water little oil, and then color if I put, then what happens? So blue color if I put, and then in that I put yellow color, then what happens? So like this kind of experimentation they do, this hormone is secrete, and this protein is helping the
Wonderful.
brain development. So
Wonderful.
children, they are here even classifying, explaining, and analyzing also. So that through this process, they are able to hypothesize that if I play with other children, then what will happen? If I play alone, then what will happen? So this differentiation also they know, and through this their social development take place, where if you see the stages which you have talked about, in that you have talked about collaborative play, cooperative play. So these are the plays which are helping them for the social development. And this is the time when they have a maximum good friendship develop. And this friendship lasts for their preschool years, and they want to go to the same school where their friends are going. So the friendship is so
Wonderful.
tight. So that is giving give us the understanding that maximum brain development is taking place. And
Absolutely.
not even Swati, physical development. If we see those children, those who are playing lot of games in their early years, then their immunity system is also developed. Their endocrine and cardiovascular system develops. So we have
Wow.
seen those who have played in their early years, they are later on, they are very strong because their immunity system, which is developed in early years, it stays with them even in their adult life. So that kind
Wow.
of research has given the direction to us. And lastly, what I would like to say, plays is definitely helping us in our last domain, that is the emotional domain, which is mostly in most of the schools it is neglected. But emotional development, which is coming from their, which you talked about, socio-dramatic play. So
Yeah.
Delancey has written a lot and a lot of research in this area. And she said when the children, they play any kind of game, doctor, restaurant, or maybe house, they are developing self-confidence, self-esteem, and it provides great pleasure to them. They are enjoying, and they are doing lot of expressing their learning, which they are having at home. So the way the mother and father behave, the way they use their language, the same language they are bringing in a classroom when they are doing the social dramatic play, and it
Wow.
enhances their emotional development.
Perfect.
So they plays a very significant role in the holistic development of the child.
Wonderful. Ma'am, I loved two of your points. Of course, all your points were great, but one was protein.
Yeah.
It releases a very important protein, and this is something that parents should be educated about. And
Yeah.
on a lighter side, I would like to say, you said that it increases immunity, and that
Yes.
is why maybe COVID-19 has not affected children as much as it has affected older people, because we have forgotten to play. So please don't quote me medically on this. It's just on a lighter note. But excellent points, Rita ma'am. And this is something, that's why we say that please buy the play policy. It is available on Amazon, and it has to be a must have. If you are an educator, if you are a teacher educator, if you are a child educator, if you are a parent. Farzana ma'am, I'm coming to you. Ma'am talked about cognitive domain, language domain, social and emotional domain. Why do you think primary schools stop playing? Aren't these domains important, or do you think that they feel that play now doesn't impact these domains after the age of 6?
Basically what it is, it's all a more a parent driven demand. So those schools like to continue with play. They are so scared because parents want so much of the IQ and they forget about the other domains that are as important. What I would suggest to all teachers who are in the primary sector, they need to do workshops with parents and explain to them why play is so important. Talk about this protein release, which Dr. Rita talked about, because that will help them to focus. Piaget believed that, a child is like an active learner. So whether he is a pre-primary child or a primary child, he is an active learner. And he must be given opportunities to explore, discover, and experiment. Like again, what Dr. Rita said, 3 measuring cups, put it into a bottle. So, I mean, these are hands-on experiences which will help the child to enjoy learning and will make him so much part of the learning. For example, nature play. I would love to talk about nature play because it's not done so much. I remember in my own school when we did the mud day, it was a big thing with my parents because they felt that they're going to dirty their hands, and that was much before COVID-19. So there were no issues at that point. And then I said, oh, we'll have a sanitizer, we'll do this, we'll do this. But it's so therapeutic. And that's when they understood the importance. At this point, I also would like to say, so what is it that helps in the cognitive development? I would like to just read a small verse which really impresses me, I am a child. I am not built to sit still. Keep my hands to myself. Take turns. Be patient. Stand in a line or keep quiet. All of the time I need. What do I need? I need motion, I need novelty, I need adventure, and to engage the world with my whole body. Please let me play. Trust me, I am learning. This is what children are yearning for. And that's where primary teachers, I request you with folded hands, let them do it. Let them play because they are going to learn through play.
How lovely.
One sort of example which I would like to give is that they think that play, will they learn? Of course they learn. They learn language. They learn to social skills because they are learning negotiation, strategizing, team play. They are learning to, and an important thing, friends, is to let your child take the lead with play. Do not, as a teacher or be a facilitator. Let them decide what they want to play and how they want to play. Don't put your ideas into them because that's how you're going to develop them in the future to be critical thinkers and to be thinkers who will find solutions to problems, you know. Another thing which is very important, you know, and I have seen 1-2 workshops which Swati ma'am has done, is that even during free play, get the teachers to chat with the child. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? So you are developing linguistic skills, their thinking capabilities, and you're helping them move on in their learning, you know. And that's where I really feel, you know, that problem solving is a very key skill. And we as teachers want rote learning. We want them to do a lot of stuff. But does that build self-confidence in children? If they have played, they have lost, they strategize how they can play better next time. So they develop self-efficacy. It also reduces their fear. Today you're hearing about suicides happening in sort of 9th
Yeah.
and 10th standard. Why does that happen? Because right from primary, we have got our children to be so fearful and anxious. And parents, if you are listening in, I request you, assessments are important, but they are not the be all and end all. See how
Yeah.
the child has developed. That is important. Give him that confidence, you know, and that self-esteem that I am good in what I do, you know. Don't compare your child with other children. You know, वो neighbor का बच्चा इतना अच्छा पढ़ता है, तू नहीं कर रहा है. मैं इतने tuition पे भेजती हूँ. Forget that. Every child is unique. Let him be joyful. And that's where happiness, the social domain, will help the child, you know, and the child will become more and more. One thing important we have to remember, that the playground, when we take them out to play, you know, it's a complex social network where kids learn lessons for every day. They are learning so many social norms, they are learning relation building. This is happening more in primary. So instead of teaching them, and then corporates are spending crores of rupees on team building.
Yeah.
If we were to do it in primary school,
True.
our children would know how to build relations, how to take criticism. And as I always talk about choices and voices, give them the voice. Let them choose what they want to play. Don't force them to do anything, you know. So the
Absolutely.
communication improves, their physical domain, all this. Let them fall. It's okay. I remember all kids, when they learn to cycle, have fallen once. So what? It's not so great. Let them fall, let them get injuries, but that will give them that self-confidence that, yeah, I am able to do it much better, you know. And of course, the last but not the least is the emotional domain, which I think is the most important for not only the early years but also for primary years, you know, where when they are playing, they are expressing their feelings. For example, the aggression, if you bottle up the child in the classroom, he is going to be a very aggressive child. There will be good children. There are children of different types in your class. But if you let them play, let them go out, take out their energies, when they come back, they are more calm, they are more relaxed. So I think it's very important. And last, now all schools are talking about happiness, HQ. So EQ is important, but now HQ has become more important. And how will happiness and joy come in their lives? By playing. So I rest my case by saying primary years also needs as much play as early years. So please, please let them play. Over to you, Swati
You
ma'am.
know, it's so important, Farzana ma'am, what you said, that play is something that parents are not realizing, and then later on, because they have not got that emotional grounding, they do commit suicide because they don't know how to deal with situations. And that's exactly what Stuart Brown has said in his book Play, that play builds the adult brain in childhood.
Oh,
Very, very important for us to understand this. And I
Mhm.
think, Pradhana ma'am, two things happen in primary. We give them play time only during recess time. So what children have to do is jaldi jaldi khao to khelne ko milega. And either they are eating suppers or they are play suppers. And number, by the time they are in primary, parents and teachers think sports is play. And many people don't realize that sports is competitive and play is relaxing. So you cannot call sports a play. And that is a distinction that schools and parents must understand if they want healthy, emotionally healthy primary children. Very, very
Very
important.
true. Very
And
true.
what a sad state of affairs for all of us that the world now has a happiness curriculum, has a happiness quotient. It just goes to show that previously for us, it was just emotional development because we used to take care of the entire spectrum of emotional development. But these days we've forgotten happiness, and now happiness has to be taught to us. Think about it. We are teaching young children to be happy. That is such a slap on us, our education system, and us as a society. Now I'm going to play a game with all of you all. I want the panelists also to join in this game. There are 30 words that I'm going to say. These 30 words are given in the policy also in the introduction, that there are 30 things children like to do every day. And if you don't give them an opportunity to do those things, then they become hyper, they become unruly, they lose their control. So 30 things, I'm going to name them. You can always write them down or tick and tell me how many of these 30 did you do today. Okay, I'm starting now. Touch, hold, cap, twirl, find, reach for, squeeze, look up, kick, throw, knock down, pinch, turn, tear, pull, grasp, drop, roll, put in, take out, shake, cuddle, pour, carry, slide, tumble, bang, mix, pull along, hang, climb. I can guarantee you all the adults who are there on this webinar would not have done more than 10 things out of these 30. Right or wrong?
Right.
And that also because of COVID now, because we are all at home and have to cook now.
Right,
Half
Swati.
it must have got covered in that. But think about it. Think about it. 30 things that children need to do every day to release their pent-up emotions, their pent-up energy. We are not having toys to do those 30 things for the children. And that is why this play policy becomes very, very important. My next question goes to Dr. Rege. Dr. Rege, you are very, very passionate about parental involvement every time when it comes to parent partnerships. In this policy, there are given a few types of play. Like, for example, what is given is the stages of play, which is starts from 0 to 6 years. Okay. The first stage is called unoccupied play, then is solid play, then is onlooker play, then is parallel play, then is associative play, and then there is cooperative play. Now, if you will see in this policy, solitary play is from 2 to 3 years. And usually between 2 to 3 years, a child is in play school or nursery, right? And we ask the child to share. Even parents start telling them to share. But let's look at the irony here. They are at the stage of solitary play and we are telling them to share. Can you throw some light on this for parents and educators, that how important it is to understand the stages of play?
Thank you, Swati. Practically, you just labeled those 30 different terms, words which are a part of play. I was supposed to start my, sharing from that point only, that our, just if we have to think about how we have grown, how we have been a child, I think we've done all these kind of things which today's children are missing. It could be as simple as climbing on the trees or balancing on the parapet on black and white tiles, or probably crawling through a tunnel or a small little pipe which was kept by some construction person, and just getting in and out of that, pulling, pushing, probably even jumping into the puddle and getting off. I think this all was a part of play that we have grown with. And today we are the one who are restricting children from doing all these things with regard to being very clean and not spoiling their clothes and stuff like that. Yes, I want to emphasize on the stages of play a little bit more detailed on each of the stage, so that the parents and the educators who are there on the board can, or on the list of participants, can also understand it little more in detail. So when we are looking,
2 minutes in mind. 2 minutes.
Of course. So if we are looking at unoccupied and onlooker play, if I have to kind of look at the, actually first of all, the stages happen one after the other, but yes, there may be an overlap of these, that the child may want to be onlooker or unoccupied and solitary at the same time. I want to play by myself and I want to observe somebody who is doing it, but I do not want to involve myself. So there can be an overlap of these stages that could be possible. Also, when we are talking about parallel play, where there are two children or more than two children who are a part of the classroom, are sitting and doing their respective things, and they know that that person is playing with that toy, I am playing with my toy, and there is no exchange, but I am aware and he is aware or she is aware as to there is some kind of an play which is happening. The next stage starts with associative, where they start very, very gradually exchanging their toys without probably using the language, but just the actions. I'll push my toy over there and I'll probably take that toy. The other person also pushes his toy. And that's what is associative play, which probably begins, and then it gets into language also, words also. Tu mujhe ye de, main tere ko ye dunga, meko wo blue wala de, meko ye red wala de, those kind of things. So association also begins. And then comes to the next stage where we probably talk about cooperative play, which is where few rules and regulations which come into picture. Of course, those are more, when they are prominently rules and regulations, they are called as games. They are no more called as play. But in the cooperative play, we do have, ye boundary hai, iske bahar nahi jana hai, hum hide and seek khelenge, ye building ke andar nahi jana hai. Those kind of things are practically the cooperative play rules and regulations that the children generally begin with and play with. So practically, when we are talking about it, it's important that every adult also should play for some period of time. I think that will also bring about a little change in what and how we look at play. Play doesn't mean game. I'm not saying that going and having a tennis racket and going to the gym and spending time over there. I'm talking about playing with children. Probably sometimes just playing badminton with children, just playing cricket with children, just playing with the toys that the child is playing at. And also, you will find this very interesting, that you ask the child, okay, what are you making? Why don't you give it to me? So the child will say, I'm making a fish out of a clay. Yeah, so show me, how do you make it? It's important to have that kind of a conversation. One little thing that I want to, just last thing that I want to add here is that we missed out one important part of domain, which of course can be included in cognitive thinking also, or cognitive domain also, is the aesthetic aspect, which we are missing out a lot in today's world. Appreciation. Because what has happened is, even parents and teachers are missing out on this appreciation. The children are not able to appreciate what they are doing, what is being liked by them, what is not being liked by them, what is it that they want to showcase and feel good about. So that whole, these things are important as a part of stages and domains together. In case if I missed anything, I'm ready to answer, but I suppose I have kind of responded to most of your questions.
Absolutely, because it's very important for schools to understand and parents especially that share karo, chalo abhi sab log share karenge toys. I have not reached the stage of sharing, and you are asking me to share, and then you blame me when I hit somebody because you told me to share, but I'm not capable of sharing. So all your discipline problems actually start when you make children do something that they are still not in the stage or have developed to do that. So that's so very important. I'm now going to go to Azelia. Yeah. Yes, Dr. A.
Just one point that I wanted to add: parents and teachers have to realize that when they're having play given to the child, or the children are actually playing, at that point in time, there's a lot of eye-hand coordination which is happening, a lot of left to right direction, a lot of interpersonal, intrapersonal, and also spatial skills which are developing. So we can't see play as just a matter of waste of time, but rather it's fruitful and it is going to be helpful in holistic development of a child, is what one has to consider.
Absolutely. So Azelia, my question is coming to you now. And my question is very simple. You are a preschool owner. Why should kids play?
Lovely. Thank you for having me, Swati ma'am. First of all, thank you for making this play policy. Your first sentence in this play policy is play is extinct. That is your first 4 words of that policy, which is quite enamoring, which is extremely relevant and true. And somewhere besides leaving all the scientific jargon that we have related to play, the other thing that was very, very close to my heart that I read what you wrote is, play isn't the enemy of learning, it's a partner of learning. This was, I think for this, everybody who's watching this panel should definitely pick up the play policy. Now, coming back to your answers, I'd first really like to acknowledge Rita ma'am for speaking about that protein which is secreted in the brain. That was one nice fun fact we got there. Fazana ma'am, you mentioned depression, suicides because play wasn't given enough attention. And Kamini ma'am, you just mentioned something amazing. Something that I want to speak about right now is adults should begin playing. Now, play, after all, is the work of childhood, as Albert Einstein has told all of us. And if there is anything that we need to learn from children how to play. Yes, we come back on these wonderful panels and speak from our seats, but it's children who should be telling us how to reform play. Because, as you said, play is extinct. It's gone straight out of the door. Even if it's in a pre-primary school, it is something which is not thought of as the lead demonstrator of education. It's somewhere at the back end because we need to do it. Because it's one of those things that sells better in my curriculum.
We say play-based learning.
We say play-based learning. And we use
learning.
Rightfully. And we use a lot of jargon there. I think for play, we need to come out of all jargon-based outcomes and learning and just give that amount of play I would say it shouldn't even go into structured play, unstructured play, just let children be is what I would suggest in the first 5 to 6 years of where they are. Let's go back a little bit to what indigenous mothers did. It was very close to my heart to speak because I believe a lot in nature pedagogy and I follow that in my school as an essence of the curriculum. And what did indigenous mothers do back in the days? How did intergenerational learning happen back in the days? If we look at it, mothers would have their children put on their backs and they would go ahead to either harvest their crops, collect water, bartan dhona. Everything happened where the mother had her child in her close context. These children became walkers, say around the age of 2, and they would then start moving around their joint family systems. And that's where play was learned. That's where I would say in our Indian society, joint families have been the bedrock of play. That is where play of all forms were born amongst our dadas, dadus, nana, nanis, cousins. That's where how we all grew up. And bringing that into school, making it a so-called play time. जैसे आपने भी बोला, खाना जल्दी जल्दी खा लो ताकि you can play more. This whole paradigm shift needs to happen in the entire outlook of play, and it should not be mixed that sports is play, because sports is the collection of competitive physical
Yes.
outcomes or physical attributes that we are looking at, while play is just free play. You introduced mud play, which was the greatest gift that you've given all of us early childhood educators and preschool owners. And the
Thanks
moment
to the World Forum.
we announce, yeah, thanks to World Forum, and the moment we even announce mud play, there's so much excitement in the way it's to be set up and done. And I almost every month we have children asking to do the mud kitchen, if not the mud play. We can't do it several times a year, but the mud kitchen and the mud play and the clay play. I think if we stay rooted to who we are, and not to try to jargon every outcome that we have, I think we'll have far easier outcomes, which teachers will also be able to practice as solutions.
Absolutely.
Yes, when we sit and we have theories, and those theories are very relevant, fantastic to that, but ground reality, we just need to ease out. I think we need to begin playing with children. We as adults need to get loose, and we need to be out there displaying this is play. Simple as.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Very nicely put, Azealia. It is something that in this policy we have called the poverty of play.
Yes.
We talk about being poor only if we don't have material riches. But in education, you are poor if you don't have play. And that's why we have a whole chapter on the poverty of play. And I'm quickly going to read out to you the consequences of the poverty of play.
Yes.
If normal play experiences are absent, the child is more likely to become violent and antisocial. They will suffer from continuous sensory deprivation. Lack of human contact and other forms of sensory deprivation causes symptoms ranging from depression and withdrawal to a gradual loss of electrical activity in the brain, and affects other factors. There is a great danger that the effects of the current changes in society and the environment will have a lasting impact on our children, thus impacting the whole species. Negative effects resulting from play deprivation include an increase in violent crimes, decreases in brain and muscle fiber development, and reduction in communication, problem solving, and social skills. This is the poverty of play. And when we had approached the Indian Academy of Pediatricians, we said, will you please prescribe play? What we meant was that when parents come to you for depression problems and mera bachcha bolta nahi hai and mera bachcha sunta nahi hai, instead of writing a prescription of a medicine, can you just prescribe 2 hours compulsory free play for the child? And I think that is something that Early Childhood Association believes, that the more we prescribe play instead of medicines, children would be better and won't suffer from play poverty. I now go to our 2 other school owners, Harsha and Preetham. Harsha and Preetham, both of you own schools, run schools, and both of you coordinate with parents. And Preetham, you coordinate with a lot of school owners. And it is very common that sometimes school owners, bow down to parental pressure, and they want to increase the writing, and they want to increase the books, and they want to reduce the amount of play. So my first question goes out to Preetham. Preetham, how do you convince the school owners and the parents about the importance of play? So if I were to put it very clearly, what is the role of parents in play?
Thank you so much, madam, for this question to me. And madam, I say that I generally give my life experiences. I share my experiences with my owners also, all the branch owners. That I was never an academic student. I was always a play child, and we used to think about when to get a time to play. So from my day one of Hello Kids, I always try to talk to parents, I try to talk to teachers, and I try to talk to owners on my personal experiences, that only academic will not lead us to the our goals of the life, yes, play is very, very important. And that really makes a sense to the owners that what I say, I do. So that makes a lot of difference to them also, that it is not only he's trying to do, trying to say us to this, but he do the same thing also. It is more like a personal experiences. If I say you something of my life experience, my father always used to say that you must know swim, you must know how to ride a cycle, and you must know how to climb a tree. So from that point of time, when we used to play during the rainy days, when we used to play with the mud, when we used to play in the sun for hours, I think that is the reason I am inclined towards the early childhood education. And I try to bring and relate all of my life experiences to this preschool education. So when I give a lot of personal experiences, and now earlier when I started it, it was little difficult. But now I, as a parent, able to relate to my child, and they see that Preetham is doing for their child, so he's trying to bring it to the school also. So please, if you all follow my Facebook page, even a lot of importance, even as a parent, I do on an everyday basis. Friends, play do not require toys. That is also very, very important to understand. It requires a lot of time and efforts from the parent side, right? A lot of thought process which is required. Giving a time, and that to be regularly to the child. And I'll give you some examples which I do it with the children, and which I really train to all of my, see, we do a lot of role plays, but still we as a parent, as you given me a question as a parent, going to a ATM in the evening after your office hours is possible. Going to a supermarket with the child, even that is a play, friends. Cycling with them, walking with them, jogging with them, watering a plant, something on a terrace, you are there with the child for some time, right? Playing hide and seek. Everything doesn't need money. It requires time. And yes, everybody said very correctly, it stimulates the child, right, friends? The child is able to explore the whole world. Friends, I can list you 365 activities where you can do it with your child without money. So we really need to understand that, do we need to have all this in the childhood? Yes, everything at this moment is very important. Slowly, child will understand with the time that what is that logic behind. मेरे father ATM क्यों जाते थे? When I went to supermarket for the first time, I said you can only choose 5 items. Next time when I went to supermarket, I said you have only 100 rupees. Now next time when I went to supermarket, I said you have only 10 rupees. So even there are levels of that play, right? So we need to understand that play requires time and efforts, doesn't need any money. And madam, I'll say we are not poor with play, right? We are poor with play, but money doesn't need to play, right? To play, we need no need to have toys. It is time and regularity. Friends, every bit of buying, even buying a vegetable with the child is a play.
Absolutely. It's how you look at it, because two things that Preetham said which struck a chord. Play prepares you for life. So play also inculcates life skills. Okay. And play can be, as Azilia also said, that in the indigenous people, they didn't have a separate time or separate activities for play. Play was the whole day. Play was being with their parents. Play was doing different activities. So there was no distinction between work and play. Now we are suffering from this distinction that now this is work and this is play. But for a child would love if everything is play. And that is why it is said play is the work of childhood. And the second thing which I liked what Preetham said was, you don't require toys. Now, let me tell you, friends, Mr. Preetham also in his family has a toy factory. So he has a toy company, and for an owner of a toy company to say something like this, it shows that his passion is towards children. Business is not first. So kudos to you, Preetham. I knew you would come out with something amazing.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to go to Harsha now. Harsha, you own a preschool in Bhavnagar. Bhavnagar, which not many people know, is the birthplace of, I would say, almost the first Balwadi that this country had, which was started by Gijubai Badeka. Dakshina Murti is what the school is called now. And you come from that city. But I know that it's very difficult to run a preschool that believes in play. Tell me, what are the struggles that you go through regarding play?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, firstly, to inculcate anything or incorporate anything in your syllabus, you have to be convinced with that. If you don't have that conviction, you won't be able to convince the parents. So firstly, I strongly advocate play policy, and I strongly believe in that children should get ample of time to play, because we have to understand that when children are playing, they are learning a lot of things. Now, when I'm talking about things, now today what has happened, ma'am, that the schools have started understanding that only the worksheets or the kind of writing work that the school does is, the schools have become academically rich, but they have gone down in play, because the parents have started demanding those kind of things. Not all schools, but many schools have started, functioning according to the parents' need. So the play has disappeared from the syllabus. Now, if I am to, introduce play, I firstly have to understand that what kind of development am I looking for, and what kind of development I'm getting from that play. For example, if a child is playing hide and seek, a group of children are playing hide and seek, and if I understand that what kind of development, what kind of learning, and what kind of outcome I'm going to get from that, only then I will be able to put that across to the parents. So the first challenge here is, in the city of Bhavnagar, and I'm sure in many other cities, is to convince the parents that playing is learning, because we have started understanding that play is a waste of time. So we have to, convince the parents, we have to give them, because whenever we give any activity to the parents, we always list down the benefits, the learnings, the outcomes that the children will learn out of this game. So then it will relate to the parent that, okay, because what happens, if we run an evening activity center, wherein it is an 80-20 ratio, wherein 80% of the time the children are allowed to play, and 20% is the time wherein we give for activities such as giving them assignments or something. So when the parents come back and they ask, "Aaj bachche ne kya kiya?" And if we say the child played hide and seek, the child enjoyed playing in the garden, slide and swing, and likha kuch nahi. I'm like, if 1.5 hours, if the child is playing with the peer group, don't you think any learning is happening in that sector? For example, I'm coming back to that hide and seek. If you dig down and understand, if a group of children, say 10 children are playing hide and seek, one child is giving a den, and the rest of the children are hiding, how much brain is put to work, where to hide. The child also who is giving the den also has to think so much ki, this is a big tree, iske piche do bacche chupe honge. So how much thinking in this process is happening, and we are underrating this, and we are outruling it, and we are thinking that this is just a waste of time. If a child is playing in the playground, just simply sliding, there are 10 children, the child has to wait for his turn, the child has to, tell other children also, and when they're sliding, they come to know ki, okay, maine 10 minute ruka main, to mujhe sliding ka pleasure mila. So I think that those things we cannot teach them through worksheets. So if we understand and we are convinced, and then we put these things in front of the parents, I think that half the work is done. And second important thing is that I feel that fortunate were the children who were in 90s, because they got ample of time. And I also today, if I look at my daughter, she's in grade 1. So what I look at her is that if she is not studying for 1 hour, it is okay with me. But if she's not played for 1 hour, I think it's a punishment that I've given to my daughter. So I strongly advocate. And in my parents' community or in my friend circle also, at times, because I run a preschool, many a times I get that kind of a comment that you are a careless mother when it comes to, studying. So I said that for me, I'm investing playing in my child. So that is what I'm looking for, a long-term result, because I have seen the children who've played well are emotionally balanced, because playing is not a waste of time, because a lot of development, a lot of release as about emotions, a lot of other panelists have talked about, because while playing, children release so much emotions. Children are able to socially talk to other children, and social development happens, leadership skills are developed, team building is happening in that kind. So I'm looking for an overall development of my child, and not only the academics. So when I put forth these points in front of parents, and it needs a lot of orientation programs also, ma'am, because it's not only one time a thing that you tell to the parents and they understand. Every single time you have to advocate that, you have to come out and share your experiences. In this period of lockdown, every single day we give an activity to the children, and we make sure that we give the benefits also of that activity, because parents understand only कि इसमें से क्या मिला in terms of academics. So it's very important for us to, step out and give them that kind of a knowledge also, and we have to orient them. Thank you, ma'am.
Absolutely. Very well said, Harsha, that you practice what you preach, and what you're doing with your daughter is amazing. I was not very good in studies when I was in school, but I was the best player. I used to play sakadi, thappa, goti. I had the more marbles than all the boys in the society, because I was very good at play. And I think it's that which helped me become a better administrator, a better team player. And that's absolutely right. You need to play. There is one word which preschools and parents use a lot. They say, we allow children to play. Now, there is a dichotomy in this sentence. We allow children to play, which means children have to play after permission, and play has to be spontaneous. You are nobody to allow children to play. And all of us are guilty of using this term very flippantly. Our school allows children to play. Allows is a word, has to come out. We say we nurture children's play, or we support children's play. Now I'm going to play a quick game with all the panelists. It's a rapid fire. So I want you all to be quick in your answering, okay? So can I have everybody's attention? Ready? 2 quick fire questions coming to all of you. Question number 1, name 2 of your favorite toys. Samriddhi.
Building blocks and coding toys.
Dr. Sonawat.
Chess and Chinese checker.
Ma'am, those are not toys, those are games.
For me, they are. I've grown up
Okay,
with them.
Dr. Ege. She's here.
I'm lost.
She want to get her toys? Come on, quickly, 2 toys. See, you all can't think of toys. What does that say? Farzana, ma'am.
Cars and cycle.
Okay, I thought you would say blocks, because I see your grandson playing a lot with blocks these days on the cupboard also. Preetam.
Madam, my favorite is Pittu.
And second?
Madam, I play every day with this.
See. Harsha.
Building blocks and cards.
Okay, Azilia.
Man, till today, from childhood, climbing trees, jumping over walls and cycling. This has been a constant.
Okay, fine. My next question, okay? When was the last time that you all played with dolls? Somebody.
Played with? Sorry?
Doll.
Actually, if I'm honest, yesterday. It's a prototype of something that we have. So I was sort of playing with it.
Okay, Dr. Sonawat.
Maybe 20 years before I played with doll. I have not seen doll around.
3 months ago.
Yeah, with your nephew.
3 months ago.
Okay, Farzana, ma'am.
Maybe about 3 days ago, because my grandson had to make a city, and we were putting dolls and cars, stuff like that.
That's wonderful. Harsha.
I was just playing before I entered this room, because my daughter has set up the whole ghar kind of a thing. And I was the maid in the house, because she was telling me that, Mama, today you have to wash clothes. So I was just playing that and I came here.
How lovely. Preetam.
Madam, yesterday and every day in the last 50 days.
Oh, lovely.
I have a
Azilia.
Ma'am, I wasn't made for dolls. And I have sons, so I don't have doll opportunities also.
Okay. And Harsha played with cards. Harsha's favorite toy is card. Naturally, she's a good Jew. And Guju play a lot of card games, right? So it wasn't only that fun time during Shravan ka mahina mein khelte hai na cards.
No,
Okay.
ma'am. Actually, my daughter loves to make those houses, out of those cards. So that is the game we play
That's so
every single
brilliant.
day. She'll make that
Such
mahal
a
and that kind
brilliant
of a thing.
Absolutely. Now my question goes out to Samriddhi. Samriddhi, give me 3 top toys that you feel Hub has. 3 top toys that you feel every school must have.
3 top toys which I think every school definitely should have. One on my list is coding toys, because I see the kind of abilities these develop in children. The basics of computational thinking start developing at a very early age, things like segmentation, algorithms, and this helps in decision making. So coding toys for sure. The second thing that I'll put is, of course, I mean, they have it also, but some kind of a toy or product for executory functions of the brain, because this is very important, something that has to be exercised. So in terms of decision making, inhibition, so toys for that. And the third that I have is socio-emotional development, because this is something which I think needs more focus. So the more socio-emotional development we focus on, the other areas will develop hand in hand. So the 3 toys from my side.
Farzana ma'am, Rita ma'am, and Kamini ma'am. When we talk about play, should we do away with all learning then? Sonawat ma'am, should we just do away with all learning and only have play?
Swati, when we plan a play, the objective teachers know that what learning is taking place from this play. For child, it's play. For teacher, she knows what learning she is taking out from the play.
Wonderful, wonderful. Dr. Rege?
I think there's connectivity issue there. There are 2 logins.
Connectivity issue. Okay, we'll go to Farzana ma'am till then. Farzana ma'am?
I would like to quote Albert Einstein here, because he had said, play is the highest form of research. So when kids are playing, it is definitely learning. So it's the lifeblood, I feel, of the learning process. It's not just play, but it's like skills for life, So play is learning for me. And that's how the facilitator uses play for learning.
Okay, that's wonderful. Is Kamini back? No, she isn't. Okay, I would now, we also have a comment from somebody that nobody mentioned tires. Tires is something that a lot of us used to play. I used to play with them, especially cycle tires. It's very difficult to balance the cycle tire and make it roll, This nowadays has got a new name. It's called playing with loose parts. Okay, so which means schools, international schools, make a corner and they give all loose parts from around the home or around the environment, and they put it all in one corner, and it's called playing with loose parts. But how many of you remember playing with loose parts, which were not toys, but loose parts, okay, in your childhood? Farzana ma'am?
I used to play a lot with, small little gears, because my father's business was watches. So we used to have these little things, and the whole time we used to have boxes of them. So we used to do a lot of play with that,
Okay, so your loose parts were gears.
Yes.
Harsha?
Ma'am, I have played with tires also, and I have played with pebbles also. So both of the things, so pebbles also, when we used to play in the ground in the apartment, that was the thing that we used to collect, and wo panchika, Gujarati ma we call it as panchika.
Yes,
so we played a lot with that.
Exactly. Those were such brilliant games. You have to throw one up and then you have to do this and catch it. What coordination is required? What impulse control? What focus, And Dr. Sonawat, loose parts.
I've never played like this. So I really
I love Dr. Sonawat. She's so frank and upfront. Samriddhi, loose parts.
Ma'am, when I think about it, I remember that I used to collect leaves, and I used to actually find leaves of different shades of green, and I used to put them in order, ascending and descending. So this is something that I can remember right now.
Super. Azelia.
Ma'am, like Farzana ma'am, my parents were architects, so I was continuously on a construction site. और वहाँ हर construction material के साथ खेलना was probably why I didn't have dolls in my life. So yes, a lot of pebbles and construction material is how it went through the whole childhood.
Wonderful. Pritam ji, loose parts.
Madam, I'm born and brought up in a village, and I have played these tires. I have played pebbles. I have played gilli danda. I used to go to mango trees with a stone. We used to bring the mango down. We used to go to that what you call as thing. The Campa Cola bottles have a cap, so you used to put flat and you used to play that games. So
Yeah.
I had a chance of doing all this, madam.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do we have Kamini back?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay,
Can you hear
Kamini,
me?
do you remember your toys last time you played with dolls?
Yeah, dolls I mentioned
Yes.
with my nephew 3 months ago.
So,
Now you're asking about parts. So I was just listing them down. Curtain rings were there, shells were there, twigs were there, different kind of stones were there. These were the different things. Actually we used to collect things from outside because mummy would not allow us to go in the afternoon in the hot sun to play. We would actually gather day or evening and get it in the house. And then she asked us, please go and keep it in the balcony. Don't play it here and don't spoil my room. So we used to actually gather every box. So I remember those.
Such wonderful memories. I want you all to understand why I'm digging into your memories. Look at the
bangles is also there. Tamarind seeds are also there.
Yes.
sudden spurt of the happiness chemical that has gone into your brain, just remembering these memories. And we think about a happiness curriculum. Come on, yeah, khelo happiness as it is ho jayega. Yes, Farzana ma'am.
I just wanted to share something with everyone. We had gone when my son was young to Mauritius, and it's all beachside. So we had collected a lot of different types of stones. Bag mein leke main customs mein nikal rahi thi. So that fellow found it very heavy. Kya laya hai isme? At that time when customs used to be very strict. So I said, patthar hai. He could not believe it. He actually felt like laughing. He didn't know how to react. पत्थर उधर से उठा के लाया. बोली भाई मेरे बच्चे को ये बहुत अच्छा लगता है, वो खेलता है तो मैं उठा के लाई. इधर बंबई में मैं अपार्टमेंट में रहती हूँ, उधर पत्थर नहीं मिलता है मेरे को. मेरे पास कोई गांव का घर नहीं है. I think that memory is still with me, that the customer, I think, must be the first passenger who brought patthar from overseas.
Don't worry, ma'am. Customs in Mumbai always catch me when I come from Dubai. Not because I buy shopping. I get cleaning material from Dubai. So they always open my bag and then they are shocked. Ki koi cleaning material lata hai Dubai. So my favorite was shells when I was growing up because I lived near a beach. And I used to love to go with my dad and mom. They used to take us to the beach every Sunday as a family. We used to build castles and find different shapes of shells. And then we almost used to have a game amongst the siblings that I have this shape. Do you have? Come on, can you share? I will give you this. And it became so much a part of my life that when I went to Orissa with my husband, we were walking on the beach one day and we found, the oyster shell. And we said, oh, there might be a pearl in it. And there actually was a pearl. And it became my wedding ring. And my husband said, I want you to remember how a pearl is born. A small grain of sand goes into the oyster and irritates the oyster. And what does the oyster do about the irritation? It secretes a gel to cover that grain of sand. And that hardens and becomes a pearl. So every time you look at pearls, you are supposed to understand about patience, resilience, that when troubles come, how we should not get irritated, but turn them into pearls. So, there is something that is around us to teach us so many different things. So I'm going to now end the panel by
one more thing.
Yes, please.
Can I add one more thing? See, also because as children, when we were children, probably it was time where we used to wait for those vacations to be there. the holidays,
Yes.
the May vacations to be there, or Diwali vacations to be there, so that we could meet our relatives. And these were cousin
Yes.
brothers and sisters. And I distinctly remember, that my auntie used to actually keep 2 saris aside. And when we used to, in the afternoon, we used to wear those saris and, get
Very
dressed
true.
and, do our small little cooking and call our cousin brothers to have cup of tea. I think these are the things, maybe it's stereotypical, toys and games that we have played. But I suppose that also talked about family, that also talked about home, that also talked about caring about people around you, bonding between, siblings, relationship building. I think there's lots that play has taught us through the.
I think that is what Stuart Brown says in his book Play, that it is these rich experiences in play that we get as a child that builds the resilience in us as adults. And that is what we all are right now remembering, going down memory lane and feeling so happy about. So it's time for us to end the panel. But before I do that, I would like if each one of you would like to leave the listeners with one message about play. Let's start with Samriddhi.
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, I would like to thank you. I would like to thank Early Childhood Association for bringing this focus to play. As important it is, as we discussed, the panelists giving such wonderful views. I'll request all listeners, whether parents, caregivers, any stakeholder in a child's life, please please facilitate playing. It's very important. And make sure that the children have the right experiences and, of course, the toys and learning aids for them. And whenever you need them, we are here. Thank you.
How sweet. Yes, I for one vouch for Haba Toys because I love their quality and I love the amount of research that they have put in each toy. So I would urge everybody have a look at Haba Toys, especially their coding toys. Dr. Sonawat,
Thank you so much.
last message on play.
Swati, we understand play has a very big role in emotional development of the child. And Farzana has rightly said the parents, they are focusing on the IQ. So what we need to understand here, IQ is important to get a job. But to sustain a job for a long time, you need to have an EQ, and which develops from the play. So we need to really make children play in our preschool and a primary school so their EQ develop and later on. Because when you play, every day you win or lose. So winning means what and losing means what. And today, if you're losing, then tomorrow you can win.
Very
so
true.
you get a pleasure of both. So that make you a balanced person. And that's the reason play.
Wonderful. Wonderfully said, Dr. Sonawat. Farzana ma'am, what is your message to primary school about play?
I would like to use the acronym for play. Okay. The 4-letter bad word, I'm going to make it a 4-letter good word. Okay. P, provide opportunity to explore and experiment. Remember, teachers, primary teachers. L, leads to development of language skills much more than all your grammar workbooks.
Yeah.
A, assist in developing and enhancing creativity and imagination. Why? Yay! It's celebration of learning.
Wow, super. I hope all the primary schools are listening and they don't allow children to play, but they support children to play, and not only during a snack time. And I hope they stop considering sports as play. Sports is not play. Sports is a game, and it's a competitive game. Dr. Ege.
I have 2 messages to parents and teachers and viewers here. One is that the Mildred Parton, Parten, New Hall, in 1929 has done this research on stages of play. I request all the participants to read about it. And second important thing is that please buy play policy booklets, which will help you understand all that we have discussed in the panel discussion today. And I'm sure it is going to be fruitful to implement play in your curriculum and in the daily life. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Farzana ma'am, everybody wants that play acronym. So I suggest you send it to me. I make a poster and we will post it on Facebook with APER logo.
Super.
So that everybody gets it. And so
Done,
that
done.
everybody visits the APER Facebook page. You want that poster, you go to the APER Facebook page and you can download it from there. Harsha, what is your message to everybody?
First of all, we have to understand that play is not a waste of time. You are investing in it. And second thing, if your child is not playing at least for 1 hour a day, you should feel bad for that. So you have to create those kind of opportunities. You have to create that kind of a routine wherein play is there in your timetable, and you strictly see to it that children are playing. Free play, whatever, structured play, unstructured play, whatever the child wants to do. But I think that we should incorporate that in our daily timetable. And if our children are not playing, we should feel bad for that.
Wonderfully said, Harsha. Azelia, what's your message?
Yes, ma'am. I have a quote I'd like everybody to listen to. It's very simple. We are never more fully alive, more completely ourselves, or more deeply engrossed in anything than when we are at play.
Absolutely.
I think we all as teachers should develop a teaching method that honors childhood and prioritizes play. And that is what you have done in this play policy, which I will urge everybody, every viewer right now to pick it up. It's very, very, very well documented.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Azelia. Preetam.
My message is play with the child, to understand the child and to teach the child.
Wow, super. What brilliant messages from all of you. And I would say one thing to everybody. Let's not become a poor nation when it comes to play. We are, as it is, a developing country. Our economy is definitely going to be shaken by COVID, and so is the economy of a lot of other countries in the world. But if we want to reinvest in our economy, the first thing and the most important thing that we should do is to support our children in play. Play does not require material. Play develops so many things in a child. And when we know the importance of play, why wouldn't we allow children to play? So it's very important as educators for us to ask ourselves, why don't we let children play? Because play is important. So please buy the play policy of the Early Childhood Association. If you are not on our WhatsApp groups and you want to be on our WhatsApp groups, then I suggest you write an email to ECAADMN@gmail.com. Write your name, your city, and your number if you want to be added to our WhatsApp groups. Because last time we received a lot of emails, add me to your WhatsApp group. How can we add you without your number? So your name, your city, and your number, and we'll add you to our WhatsApp group. Our website is www.eca-india.org. This brilliant panel is all part of ECA, including Samriddhi, because Samriddhi is a company sponsor. Mahaba is our company support sponsor of ECA, and all of them, Farzana ma'am, Rita ma'am, Kamini ma'am, Harsha, Preetam, Azelia, are all working for ECA without a single amount of pay. And that is the plus point of ECA. It's the only non-profit association in the country or in the world where we don't have anybody working on payroll. Everybody is doing honorary work because they love children, they like childhood, and they would like to elevate quality and consistency in quality in our country and bring up our country, because the only way to bring up this country is to invest in the early years. So please do that. If you're not a member, become a member. If you don't have the play policy, buy the play policy. And only then will you become a quality preschool or primary school that contributes to the growth and development of this nation. Thank you very much to all the participants. I know it was a long panel because we had so many panelists, but we wanted to bring in many different views. And I think that has made this panel more successful because of the different perspectives that we heard today. So thank you, Samriddhi.
Thank you,
Dr.
so much.
Thank you, Dr. Rege. Thank you, Farzana ma'am. Thank you, Azelia. Thank you, Harsha. and thank you, Preetam. Bye
Thank
from
you.
us. And you will see one
Okay.
webinar coming from us every day. So always watch out the ECA or the APER Facebook page. Bye, everybody. Play. 30
Bye-bye.
things
Take
to
care.
do. Play.
Thank you. Thank you, Swati ma'am.
Thank you, Swati.
Thank you, Swati. It was wonderful.
Lovely. Thank you.